Smarterfan. Hey, everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan Podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How you doing, Barry?
Oh, I'm so excited today. We got special guests and then a special guest on top of the special guest. This is called our Thursday edition. So we got something special for your family today, and we're just excited to get into it. And we got a lot more of these coming. So I'm excited today, Joe. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling fine, just fine.
Awesome. All
right. So the Boston Celtics, they just been sold.
Really?
Yes. A group led by Bill Chisholm bought the team for $6.1 billion.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man. Now, that makes them the most expensive team now, surpassing the sale of the Commanders a couple of years ago.
Wow.
So now, talk about a profit margin. The previous owner bought the team for $360 million in 2002.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So now, Chisholm has been a Celtics fan since he was 7. So he said that when he saw an opportunity to get the team, he jumped on it. Right. So he's going to own 51% of the team upon approval from the NBA Board of Governors. So now, Wick Grousbeck, he's the previous owner, and he's going to stay on as the CEO for the next 3 seasons. So, and he said he'd be glad to do that to help them get on their feet. And now the Celtics, they're on pace to be the first team to surpass $500 million in payroll and luxury tax payments.
What do you want me to say? They got more banners than anybody.
That's the thing, and he wants to keep that winning tradition going. And, it's just, and they're at the height of their value right now because they're just coming off of a championship.
Yeah.
So what better time to sell?
Yeah. That's a whew.
Yeah.
You got the Celtics for $360 million.
Yeah.
That's a steal.
Yeah. And I bet that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, that should be one of your trivia questions. When did he buy the team?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, he must have maybe owned them from the 90s. But anyway, that's a trivia question for you.
Well, he bought the team in 2002.
Oh, okay.
And he paid $360 million then. So
yeah, he did real well. He almost 10x his money. Anyway,
So, and then you got Tatum's contract is coming up, so it's gonna get real interesting when they take over the team.
Oh yeah. The way they're set up, you're young. they'll be competing for any unforeseen injuries. They'll be reloading for the next 5 years. I don't see them slowing down.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, my friend.
We have guests.
We do. Well, we've had NFL agent Martez on before. He's a wonderful guest. I love him because he brings so many different angles to what really happens in pro sports. So if you didn't know, he handles the NFL, and there's like 3 other football leagues that he has players in and out of. Most of us just know the NFL, right? So we got him to come on tonight, and then he was able to bring on one of his players, right? So this is going to be really, really exciting. Raphael Turner is the player, and he's going to give us some history and background. But before we do anything, we're going. There he is. There's my guy. Hey, how you
How's
doing, Agent?
doing good, doing good. How about yourself?
All
Good.
right.
Feeling well.
Doing
Feeling well.
good.
Good to
Doing
see
good.
you.
Same here. It's good to be seen.
I thought you'd be dealing with the combine and all the busy stuff happening about now, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So
Right.
everybody's good. You're good. We're so glad. I'm so glad you reached out to me. You know, I love talking to you because we barely scratched the surface. But I was just telling Joe, you know, most people think it's just the NFL, but you've got guys in three other leagues, NFL. You probably got some guys in Canada. And so,
Mm.
you know, it's just you're just giving us and our fans an opportunity to learn so much more about the game, especially from your angle as an agent. And
Mm.
then you pulled one of the rabbits out of your hat. You got us one of your players to talk with us tonight, and so we're really excited to talk to him as well. But Joe, I don't want to hog up the floor. I know you got some questions you want to kick off to Agent
Yeah,
Martez, so go right ahead.
definitely. Definitely. All right. So, how has your business grown over the past year?
Over the past year, it has grown to the point of more connections, better
Mm.
networking since I started. I'm going into my third year right now with the agency, being
Okay.
created. But also, I've like you said, like Coach Barry was saying, I might have some people in Canada. I actually have two players that I
Oh, wow.
put into what they call the Canadian Junior League. A lot of people don't know between the ages of 18 to 24, they actually have a league for juniors that actually is a
Mm.
feeder
Wow.
league to the CFL. So two of the guys I came across, they actually wanted me to represent them as
Mm-hmm.
agent, but like I said, they're coming out of high school, don't have any college experience. So I actually looked at it for a pro bono type of opportunity. I didn't sign them. I told them
Oh.
as they get more experience, uh,
Okay.
they, become more professionals, from the experience itself. We can have a talk later down the line. So for those,
Ah.
it was more pro bono. I talked to the coaches.
Wow.
Coaches were thankful, like, hey, thank you for forwarding their information. We're gonna get these guys here, and it's kind of like a college. It's like going to college. The
Mm.
Hmm.
take care of them. They they don't get paid. If I'm not mistaken, they don't get paid, but it's kind of like all the combinations are paid for, and whatever they do, they
Interesting.
produce from there. They get the opportunity to possibly go to the CFL. So
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
that's a league a lot of people don't know about. And to some guys that I come across that are younger, 18 and 24, that may have that I may see that, with a little bit of development, they can go to the next league. I usually would try to forward them. So up to this moment, only two guys. To the rest of everyone, as Raphael, he'll be joining us soon. He had the opportunity to, well, he's currently playing for the Omaha Beef. He has extensive
Mm-hmm.
experience between going overseas, playing in the Mexican leagues, playing
Wow.
arena, and I wanted to bring him forward to
Mm-hmm.
this source, and for him to express his story because he has a delicate story that I think that would be engaging to a lot of people when it comes to the outlook of being a professional athlete because he executes. He's a high performer when it comes to these leagues, but
Mm.
he's not considered the prototype size. So I think he has a very,
Oh, okay.
very engaging story when it comes to that.
Interesting.
Oh. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. What do you value most in a team environment?
What do I value the most in a team environment?
Yeah.
Um, I guess when it comes to team, the building factor,
Mm.
everyone doesn't come into everybody doesn't come as a team. It takes a process. It's a process to get there. And usually, if I had to compare it to my experiences going through the football, just my football experiences itself. I had to be it when I went from team to team through college because I did transfers. I was probably before they started transfer like they do now. I was doing that before that happened, just
Mm. Okay.
trying to get into the right chemistry where I can fit into their system. I had to be able to build a chemistry with guys that I may have not known, I may
Mhm.
have not even liked, but
Mhm.
the day
Mm.
a team building factor. And that's what got me into so many aspects of my career where I was able to take leadership positions and then go from leadership positions on teams to leadership positions as in being an agent and representing these fine guys that I do.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
definitely. It sounds like you have a definite plan.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir. Try to.
your client, Raphael, what is his background?
I will say this. We should get him in and let
Yeah.
him tell you a little bit more about his background because I know I can keep spilling on about him, but like I said, I think his story is so intriguing and so engaging that him speaking about it himself, I think that'd be me. I couldn't even give it justice.
Oh,
Awesome.
okay.
Awesome. Raphael Turner, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. We thank you so much for taking time out. Your agent talks very, very highly of you. And so he was just telling us the uniqueness of your story. So I want to shut up and just have you tell us, how'd you get into football? 3 things. How'd you get into it? Where'd you play college? The dream of playing pro and those challenges, those ups and downs, like anything else in life. And what's finally, what's your plan?
Okay. So I got into football because my dad, he played and I had a bunch of older cousins and everything that played football. So I got into it around, I want to say age 4 or 5. And the training ain't stopped since. I went to Campbellsville University in Kentucky. It's an NAIA school.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I started right tackle. I'm only 5'8", 5'9", right
Are
past
you
the
serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So I started right tackle for 3 years, and then I got 3 rings from there, 2 conference championships and 1 bowl game appearance. And then as far as the
Wow.
professional realm goes, I played overseas in France in their top league in 2018. I got an opportunity to play in Mexico's league, but Corona shut the league down, unfortunately. And then after that, I've just been playing mainly arenas. So I've been in the AFL, NAL, pretty much all over the place. So right now I'm with the Omaha Beef. They're the 2-time undefeated champions of the NAL. And
Wow.
hopefully we can get another ring during this season.
Wow, that's amazing. Now you got to help me on this. I usually they talk about tackles being 6'6", 6'4", 6'5", 305. How did you manage to hold that anchor down at 5'8"? How much you weigh?
I'm about 265, so I got a decent weight, but just I trust the process and believe in myself. So hard work ethic and just not, doubting myself. You can get a lot of things done. And also, I can play defensive line as well and fullback. So coaches kind of seeing like, okay, he's versatile. So we don't have to necessarily have him on the line, but kind of been put everywhere. So I'm kind of like a utility guy. But it's funny because I always end up on the O-line, some kind of form or fashion or at defense. Like right now, they got me starting D tackle here. So it's like, hey, man, wherever the bell's calling, I guess.
That's awesome. That's what's up. That's what's up. That says a lot about you. Because I mean, if I'm coming off the edge and I see you, I'm thinking I'm gonna have some peanut butter and jelly, a little tuna fish today, some pizza. It's gonna be a snack. 5'8", 265.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So you must be a piece of work to deal with on that offensive line.
Yes, sir. Check the film.
That's the film don't lie. The film don't lie. So let me tell you, are there dreams? Are there dreams of the NFL or
I would like to shoot for potentially Canada or at least getting overseas to the it's called the ELF. It's kind of like NFL Europe. So maybe get back over there, try to get over there, or even Mexico again. They got pretty solid leagues. So people don't understand, like Martez was saying, there's a lot of other leagues outside of NFL and CFL. You got Arena, you got the European leagues, which each country has their own like respective league. Mexico, they all pay pretty well. Heck, Japan got football league. So like people,
really?
yeah, it's called the X League. So Brazil has a team. So I mean, it's kind of like gotta go where you can go. So
this is really fascinating.
Yes, it
really?
is.
So Mexico. Anyway, let me shut up. Go. I'll hog this up, Joe. Go ahead, Joe. I'll hog this up.
All right. So, what is your favorite part about playing sports?
Just being able to build a brotherhood with people and just kind of seeing everybody's different walk of life, and just connecting with those people and,
Yeah,
just the competition and just having fun.
Mm.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so it's the camaraderie of it all.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. Uh, who is your biggest athletic role model and why?
I'll probably have to go with Aaron Donald because like he was undersized and you see how he
Mm-hmm.
dominated the league, and then I liked
Mm.
Warren Sapp too because he wasn't that big. I like Jerome
Mm-hmm.
Bettis. Like those guys were kind of like they weren't that tall, but they were able to get the job done, and like was well known. So I like those kind of people.
Yeah, they got the job done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is your proudest athletic achievement?
Just being able to play professional, like a lot of people, of course, you're not 6'2", 6'3" from a D1. You're not viewed as a top prospect or anything. So just being thankful God gave me an opportunity to play professionally, starting off in France, and just being able to build a career off of that. That's just what I'm proud of for myself, and like a lot of my friends and family are too.
Oh, definitely,
Wow.
definitely. So, what do you believe is the biggest challenge for athletes are facing today?
Not trusting the process, man. A lot of people, like, as soon as stuff don't go their way, they want to jump ship or transfer portal and all that other stuff. Like, you gotta learn how to bet on yourself, and then trust, you know God's plan and your process and your work ethic to get you to where you need to get to. Because a lot of people don't, if they don't see the results right away, they just want to give up or they want to jump ship somewhere else. The grass ain't always green on the other side. So a lot of it's just really trusting the situation and being where your feet are.
Mm, yeah,
That's
trusting the
a
process.
that's a huge statement right there.
It is definitely it is.
So Raphael, tell me something. The dynamic to your point of the transfer portal, because people don't know, and I'm gonna say something that I want to get your opinion. There are guys we know who peaked in high school but didn't peak in college. There
Right,
are guys who were marginal in high school, went to college and peaked, right?
right.
And they turned around. And we know guys who made it to the pros. They what? Do you know Clay Matthews was a walk on at USC,
No, I didn't know that.
all pro, and will probably be in the Hall of Fame because he had a great career in Green Bay,
Yeah,
Mm.
right? So
right.
it's a very funny process. What can you say about that? What would you say about that? Because I like how you said that process. And I think a lot of guys are cheating themselves out of development process. But let me stop right there.
Mm.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. I actually seen people who like, peaked in high school and didn't really work out in college. And I've seen the reverse. Like I was a guy who was somewhat marginal. Like I had the potential, but I didn't like, get all the accolades and stuff because mainly because of my size. But like, like I trusted the process and this is where I'm at today. I know um Martez, he got his opportunities in the NFL and stuff like that. I don't know his accolades in high school, but I feel like he made his peak, coming into the league. I have so many teammates, like here right now that like um they peaked at different times. Like my roommate, he was shouted out by the Rock at the UFL, and he's getting
Mm-hmm.
looks at other teams now. Like he didn't start peaking till like 30 years old. So like it's
Mm.
a matter
Mm.
of like how much you want to put into it, and if you're gonna really trust it and not give up if you don't get what you want right away.
It's really fascinating how it works, and sometimes, as strange as it may sound, sometimes when you get those early rewards, it psychologically psychs you out.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to a guy on a podcast the other day, actually Dominique Wilkins' nephew,
Mm.
who played in the
Mm.
NBA 15 years, right? And growing up, the nephew of Neek and the son of Gerald, right? And he's talking about those dynamics and the kids that he coaches. And he said something interesting to the kids I coach. A lot of them have work to do,
Right.
but they ain't in the gym getting it in. They're
Mm.
living off talent. And as I coach, I've been coaching on and off, and I keep trying to tell guys, listen, everybody got talent who steps on the floor.
Right.
To be elite is the people who put in the work to develop the skill. There's a difference between talent, skill, and then mastery. When you look at
Mm.
MJ and the greats, that's mastery. Montana, mastery. Elway, mastery. Because they're going to put in the work to build on the skill, to build on the talent. Most people stop at talent. and I always kind of feel that these as Gerald's nephew on the podcast said. I said, he came in one day and he says, "What? There's three courts in here. Why aren't you guys putting in extra work if you're not putting it in?" And I just watched, and I don't know what's happening to me, but over probably the last 5-10 years, I become such a Kobe fan than when he played because of his backstory. Over in Europe, dad in the NBA, gets into the league by the one of the greatest in Jerry West, and then having to deal with the veterans really not feeling him like that.
Right.
And willing to put in the extra work to be great. Even when they were laughing at him, but who laughed last? He did.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean? And so I try to share with my guys, you, you got to find where you fit in, And then the other part of it is, I may not need you to score 40 a night. Maybe if you score 15 and get 5 rebounds and 3 assists, we win. You score 40, we lose.
Yeah.
And that also is a dynamic. So where you are, you running back, offensive line, defensive line. And as you said, that's pretty much probably kept you. No, we can't get rid of him. He can do 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Versatility equals job security.
Absolutely. I had one of my players cracking up one day. I said, "How many checks did Deion Sanders get on the field?" He said, "Well, he was a corner, and then he returned, and then he also played receiver." So I said, so most of his teammates are getting 1 check. He's getting 3. He said, "Coach, I never thought about it like that." I said, "I know. They're all playing football, but he understood if I add more value, I get more money."
Right.
Right? So it's the sports world, and I know Agent Martez, I know you got to see a lot of this. And so how do you handle these dynamics with players who come in at different levels and different expectations and maybe undervaluing or overvaluing? How do you manage that?
Give you a perfect example. I was just speaking recently to a new potential client. I have a scout that's looking for a particular type of dynamic player that plays a certain position on defense or offense. He's looking for O line and defensive line, and these are the most marketable people, and that's why people like Raphael. He plays multiple positions. He can play both. So that's where any team is going to pick him up once they see his value. And that's why me and him, when we converse, I always let him know that he really never has to worry about going somewhere. It's just getting to the place of where he needs to get to or where he wants to get to. All right. But when it comes to those different type of situations, it's basically when I look at the film, I evaluate and see where can I get them at compared to where they want to get to. You can I say this the same recruit that I was talking to, athlete. I was telling him, "Do you aspire to go to the NFL?" He said, "Well, there's XFL." I said, "Well, if you have a track runner," I told my track runners, "You should be preparing for the Olympics because if you don't make it to the Olympics, you can make it to the NFL. Well, excuse me, you can make it to a lower league, but we're going to go to the highest standard possible, and we should have standards. If I'm going to put in this work and I'm going to do all the necessary things to get to a certain league that I want to get to, you should get to the ultimate league and prepare for that." So the guys that may have high expectations, there's a realistic part of it also, but we should be working to get to that ultimate level. So everyone is not in the same realm when it comes to development. Like Raphael is in his own, just like my other guys are in their own type of league, and they're aspiring to get to wherever their goals at. But what Raphael is doing is not the same thing as what they're doing, and this it's just an understanding from me evaluating and we having conversations, and then we actually putting a plan together to reach out to certain teams, because Raphael has certain teams that he want to go to, like in the F League when it comes to overseas. So whatever his plan is may be different than someone else. So it's the evaluation of that and being realistic in that portion of how is this progression going to actually happen, and how do we get you to the goal that you want to succeed and get you to where you want to be at in life, especially when it comes to athletics, but after athletics too.
Awesome. You always do it, Agent Martez. Raphael, give us the last word. We have to wrap up. Man, we thank you again for your time and for taking the time out.
Yes.
And any last words you would like to share with us? We really appreciate you being here and sharing your story. And hopefully we can get some more when you have time. But you got the last word, my friend.
First, I want to say thank you to Martez and you guys for setting this up. You know, it was nice to be able to come out and, you know, share my story with everybody. And then it's like, if anybody who's listening who's in a situation you don't know what to do, or you feel like you're being doubted, underestimated, you know, just to trust the process and let things play out. You know, don't give up on yourself. There's blessings after burdens. You might feel like you're burdened without getting a certain opportunity or anything like that, but just truly put your trust and faith in God and your abilities, and you know you can go far.
Oh, definitely.
Thanks so much.
Definitely.
Hey, Joe, you know, I try to do what I can. This was just an awesome Agent Martez. Listen, Agent Martez, you know we coming back. You know we coming back. Because you just started something. You just started something. And when you always leave us with some nuggets. So we coming back to you.
Yes,
but,
sir.
you know, we just want to say thank you both for taking the time out.
Thank you,
really
gentlemen.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And as we say, Joe, right?
Stay in the game.
Stay in the game. Thanks, everybody. See you next week. And thanks again to our special guest, and see you soon.
Yes. Thank you. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah. Smarterfan.